Professional curiosity in social work practice. What is professional curiosity? Hello, my name is Paul Jones and I'm an independent social worker. This is the first presentation in a series of 6 that will be discussing the importance of applying professional curiosity to our practice. This is part of a series of practice resources developed with David Paul of Gwynedd Council's Effective Child Protection Project. Each video will look at different aspects of professional curiosity in social work practice. This presentation asks, what is professional curiosity? The other presentations look at why it is important, how is it applied in practice, how to overcome some of the barriers to professional curiosity, and how to develop skills in being professionally curious. To start, we'll just think about when we use the term professional curiosity and why. It is usually because someone is saying that there wasn't enough professional curiosity. Remember, it is just a cluster of words, created to try to convey a meaning about practice. It isn't a tangible thing that everyone would agree upon. And let's think about when we use the term professional curiosity and why. It is usually because someone is saying there wasn't enough professional curiosity. When cases are reviewed, with the benefit of hindsight, reviewers are concluding that in a certain case, there wasn't enough of it. Of course, the argument is that if there had been more professional curiosity, something would have been seen and presumably some action taken. We seldom hear people talk positively about professional curiosity. For example, how often do we hear a comment, "Oh, that was a great example of professional curiosity in practice"? It is usually negative, about failure and a shortcoming. As a profession, we are really good at pointing out the negatives, despite everything we say about strengths-based practice. And of course, there can never be proof that had you been more curious, you'd have seen anything different at that time. We'll come back to this image of Sistine Chapel again. I call it the "oh, you've missed a bit" picture. I'm sure you get the message. It's beautiful and well done. But someone may point somewhere and say, "You've missed a bit," or "I don't like that." So, we are missing the wonder of what has been done and get fixated on something that hasn't. So it's important to acknowledge that practitioners are already professionally curious. They are constantly trying to judge a line about when you accept something and have enough information, and when you may need more. And of course, you can't just look for more and more information or confirmation before making every decision. Or that is all you'd be doing. So, let's remember, we are curious all the time. We know how to do this already. The worry for us all is, in this moment of action, now, have I gone far enough, explored deeply enough in relation to your task of functioning? It is a "is this enough" question. I hope this series of presentations will help you think about that in your own practice. So, what is professional curiosity? Professional curiosity is a capacity and communication skill to explore and understand what is happening within a family. But it is different to normal communication skills. It's about going deeper and using proactive questioning and being more challenging. That word "curious" suggests going further, looking for something more, something that's not obvious. It may even be being nosy, but to be so with good intent. It is about not making assumptions, not taking things at face value. It is about understanding one's own responsibility, knowing when to act, knowing how to dig deeper. I like to think that professional curiosity is like peeling the layers of the onion. It's important that our questions delve deeper and that our questions are not superficial. Superficial is, of course, sometimes comfortable. If we are not satisfied with an answer, or feel that the individual is not answering the question appropriately, or even avoiding answering, that we have the confidence to keep at it, peeling away. That can take the form of rephrasing the question or asking a different one. For example, you've asked a parent to describe what William, their son, does during the day. You're trying to get at their understanding of his world and his experiences. They tell you he is a kind and happy son who loves to be in the room on his computer. You sense that they weren't really giving you a full answer and may even have been a little deflective. So you reframe it and ask, he seems to be happy. He must have an interesting day. Tell me how he gets up in the morning and his usual routine before school. To be effectively curious like this, you need a lot of awareness about what is happening to you moment by moment. In that example, you knew you needed more, and in the moment had to make several decisions about what to ask and how to do that. When you do this, it sometimes brings with it some discomfort or a feeling of unease, as if you're pushing a little, going further than the parents really want you to go. You need to manage that inside. So, if professional curiosity is exploring the edges of things, it can feel a little unsafe. We can all imagine that if we feel some unease, you may be tempted to avoid going there at all. That's one of the barriers we'll come to later. You can think of professional curiosity as thinking the unthinkable. Thinking there may be more to this that I am seeing. Asking what other things may be going on. Asking why questions. These are really helpful to try to get to the source of behaviour and things people say. For example, a parent has just said something and you recognise that this is important because it is to do with their motivation to change. You can't let it pass. So you switch to being more professionally curious. You know it is a little edgy and feel a little uncomfortable. So you dig deeper and ask, you said, I'll do anything you say I need to do for you. Why did you say that? This prompts them to think deeper about what they are saying and thinking. It tells you something important about their external motivation to change. Being professionally curious means remaining respectfully uncertain. What do we mean with this? Well, that you can't be sure about anything you see or hear. Don't slip into taking things at face value. Always stay a little uncertain or even a little suspicious. But it is important that when we do this, we still show the person respect. By being professional curious and respectfully uncertain, practitioners are always ready for action and willing to dig deeper. And because we are coming from a place of respect towards the other person, the way the question is asked or the way the challenge is made should sound less threatening to them. This puts us in a better position to take appropriate and positive action to protect someone's safety and welfare. And when we think of child protection, especially, our awareness will already be sharper, and thinking the unthinkable should be a lot easier. Disclosure of abuse is an area where professional curiosity is important. Both adults and children disclose abuse and neglect directly to practitioners. But when they do, it may not be through direct words. It will often be through unusual behaviour or comments. This makes identifying abuse and neglect difficult for professionals across agencies. We need to be vigilant to what people do and say, to pay attention. We need to be aware of the signs and indicators of abuse, such as physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, emotional abuse, and domestic abuse. There are a lot of these outlined in guidance and in our training. I am sure you'll recall many of these yourself. For example, in sexual abuse, indicators include things like age, inappropriate levels of knowledge about sexual acts, a child reverting to earlier age behaviour like bedwetting and soiling, or wanting to be treated like a baby. Other indicators include cryptic messages about having secrets, games being played, and the child testing things out to see our response. Developing your awareness of possible signs will help you remain vigilant. When you experience these, it will prompt you to think about what this may mean and to remain curious. To know that you need to be digging deeper, now or later, in a follow-up conversation. So, to summarise, we are already professionally curious and have experience of doing this. The challenge is to continuously develop this. Professional curiosity is about using and developing our communication skills, to check things out, to delve deeper into things, to avoid being superficial, to avoid missing something important, to avoid making a mistake. But being professionally curious can be difficult. You are often going where a child or a family doesn't necessarily want you to go. There can also be conversations that you may feel a little uncomfortable having with them. This brings us to the end of this presentation. In the next presentation, we'll be asking, why is professional curiosity important? Thank you.